This video is sponsored by Skillshare, the first 1,000 people to start learning a new skill in English using my link in the description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. Or you can skip to this time in the video to learn more. So I've been thinking about how I teach and how I see other teachers teach, both in real classrooms and online. And I realized something. Everyone, including me, teaches conditionals all wrong. If you've studied or taught English, then chances are you've probably seen a textbook like one of these. Actually, I really like New English File. It's the teacher's favorite. But they have a problem, as do all textbooks, as do all teachers. And that problem is that it's too prescriptive. Now, what I'm talking about is prescriptive grammar versus descriptive grammar. Basically, prescriptive grammar, that is focused on traditional grammar rules. Those don't change. And if you change something in that grammar structure, you're a bad person and you're rubbish at English. Descriptive grammar, however, that teaches how we really talk. Yes, there are rules, but we know how to bend those rules. And that's what I want all ESL teachers to change. Teach real English and not just the rules. Because when you do that, English students go to an English-speaking country and they feel really bad about their English because they're like, I don't understand anyone. Is my English that bad? Or is everyone speaking wrong? Must be me, I must be stupid. In this video, I've got great news for you. Your English is fine and you're brilliant. But this is the problem. All teachers, myself included, we tend to follow the rules a bit too strictly. Now, as a beginner in English, that's good. You need to learn context. You need to learn how grammar works to explain context and time references. But as you get more advanced, you learn how to break those rules. Most of the time, especially for online teachers, we tend to follow the rules a bit too strictly. Why? Because some idiot in the comments is going to be like, actually, the grammar rule is this, and you're teaching students how to speak wrongly. Wait, If you're a teacher, don't listen to your YouTube comments, ever. If you're a student, don't listen to YouTube comments for grammar tips. Very rarely are they correct. But for now though, I want to show you how we can update teaching. Let me show you. I started this video by saying, I've been teaching conditionals all wrong. Well, probably everyone has, and this is why. You've learned there are 4 conditionals, right? So we've got 0, which describes things which are always true. If this happens, then this happens. It's useful for giving information, talking about science, that kind of thing. For example, I don't know if you've heard this one, but if you play Led Zeppelin backwards, you can hear the devil. I know, it sounds ridiculous, unbelievable, right? But then I tried it. I'm gonna eat your soul. The grammar for this, we've got if with a present tense verb and a present tense verb for the result. So if this happens, always. Again, really good for information or scientific facts. Then there's the first conditional, and that's like this. So something realistic happens in the future. This is good for warnings, for example. If you keep making that noise, I'm gonna break up with you. Grammatically, we have if with a present tense verb, and the result is future. So we use future tense. So I'm gonna, I'm going to, or I will, I'll, whichever your preference is, it doesn't matter. And again, it's for a future. It really can or will happen, usually for warnings, threats, promises, you know, real things. But if we need to use our imagination for something that's not real, impossible, or just imaginary, you know, we're talking hypothetically. What if maybe this thing? Then we need to use second conditional. If I were you, I'd break up with him. This is the second conditional. If with a past tense verb. We're talking in the future or now, but that verb should be in the past tense. Why? Because we're imagining. So, you see, if and a past tense verb, just know it's an imaginary situation. But if you want to be completely sure if the situation is just imaginary, you just have to look for that magic word, would. This means, well, the situation isn't real, I'm just imagining it. You know, like if I had £1 million, I would buy, what would I buy? I have no snacks. I'd spend £1 million on snacks. So yeah, you can abbreviate that to I'd, that's fine. You can also use could if you want to stress the possibility that that situation brings. So remember that yes, the verb is past, but the situation is present or future. If we need to talk about a different past, an imaginary past, then we need the third conditional, and that's this. If I hadn't met you, I wouldn't have fallen in love. Now we are imagining a different past, a past that didn't happen. So for this we need the if again and a had or a hadn't for a negative with the verb 3 or past participle. And what is the result of that? How does that different past affect the past? Well, I wouldn't have and a verb 3 or past participle. Those are the structures of the conditionals 0, 1, 2, and 3 here. So we know how a different past, if I hadn't met you, would create a different past. I wouldn't have fallen in love in the past. But let's say he wants to say, if I hadn't met you, right now, I'm not in love. How can he say that? Well, you already know because it's from the second conditional grammar. So let's mix them and create this. I wouldn't be in love. Now we're just using would or wouldn't with the infinitive, the base verb, verb 1. That creates a mixed conditional. How a different past affects an imaginary present. Try your own mixed conditionals or any conditionals that you don't feel confident with in the comments. I'll try and correct you. And these are the grammar rules, right? Your teacher taught them, I've just taught them to you, and if you change anything of these in a test, you're a bad person and you fail at life. I'm kidding, I've got great news for you. The rules here are flexible, very flexible. For example, now probably I'm never going to give you £1 million, but what if I did? A classic second conditional sentence that you learned in your English class. If I gave you £1 million, what would you do? We've got the obvious, if with a past tense verb, then would and an infinitive. That's fine, and that is what you should write in your English grammar tests. But in real life situations, in real English conversations, you might hear this. If you give me £1 million, I'm buying a yacht. I've never understood the fascination with yachts. I've never been on one, I'm sure they're great. But anyway, surely this is wrong, right? I mean, if you give me £1 million, that's not likely. That's not going to happen. That's not real. But why are you using first conditional grammar here? Shouldn't it be second? Well, yeah, in traditional grammar, yes. However, that's not necessarily how we speak. Most importantly, from this video, I want you to know that traditional grammar rules are a guide. You know, they should help you explain yourself better, tell a story with more clear time references and all that stuff, and help you understand when people talk, oh, you're talking about yesterday? Cool, I understood that because grammar. But grammar is not a law. If anyone tells you that you're stupid or you've got bad English because you didn't stick to the traditional grammar rules, but yet they still understood you, then you should make fun of their haircut. Make them cry. So, if you say this, people will understand you. No one will think that you're stupid or your English is bad. This is fine. This is how we speak. You're fine. Don't worry. Because as another example, Ali, are you tired? You look tired. This is just my normal face. Well, you wouldn't look tired if you just slept early last night. Now, this is talking about last night, a different past. So shouldn't this be past perfect? If you had slept? And that one's okay. You wouldn't look tired now. There's no problem with that. If you wrote this in an exam, you would fail. But in real conversations, people change the second and third conditional grammar. I don't know what I'm doing with this. All the time. Yes, you're talking about an imaginary past situation, and that should be past perfect. But if you just use past simple, no one will care in real conversation. In an English grammar test, people will absolutely care. You'll fail that. And this is the point I want to make with this video. Prescriptive grammar is bad for students. Great for tests, bad for real life situations. In textbooks and tests, there's only one correct answer. Anything else is a fail. But in real life, in real conversations, we bend the rules all the time. Please know that conversation is way more important than tests. Unless you need a visa, uni entry, or what's the other thing? A job. Then that one's more important. Okay, maybe I've been too general. You can't just break all the rules because the sentence needs to make sense and you need to understand each other. So there are some rules that we still follow, but don't worry because they're very easy. For example, she broke up with him, but he wants to say, to be honest, it was going to end anyway. So he says this: if you didn't break up with me, I would have broken up with you. A textbook would say, this is wrong. Your test would say, this is wrong. But in a real conversation, people speak like this all the time, and no one cares. That's the important thing. Basically, any type of past sentence here with the if and the would have with a verb 3 or past participle, everyone knows you're talking about an imaginary past situation. That's fine. No one's going to correct that. However, and the more strict rule would be this. The main two rules to follow with conditionals are: make sure the time reference is right and not confusing. So if you're talking about a past situation, make sure you have a past sentence. So not don't break, use didn't break, or hadn't broken. Those two are acceptable in conversation. Like I said before, any past and past, we all understand that you're talking about something in the past. And secondly, breaking the structure rules. So would broken, you know that a modal verb needs an infinitive of verb 1. So when you put would with a verb 3, broken, that just sounds weird to the ear. So that one, yes, people will correct you on that. But this one, probably no. And in the future, I want to make more videos like this, how English teaching should be, not how it is. I think that it's already so outdated and we need to change some of our methods. That's the future of English teaching. And do you want to know something else that's the future of learning? It's today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. You can learn a new skill, deepen your passions, and get lost in creativity, all while improving your English in a natural way. Now, especially recently, a lot of you have contacted me about starting your own YouTube channel or Instagram, doing something creative and turning that into a business. That's why I recommend that you start taking this class today, Be Your Own Boss, Strategies for Launching Your Creative Career. In this course, you'll learn how to build your reputation, how to use social media to your advantage, building your portfolio, maintaining it, and then how to find clients and how to price your work properly. And again, use my link in the description and you'll get a free trial to Skillshare Premium, so you can take this class absolutely free. Don't worry if you miss this opportunity, because Skillshare costs less than $10 a month with an annual subscription, which is crazy cool. And with thousands of courses to choose from, you're never going to be bored. There are no ads, of course, and Skillshare believes a strong community is essential to personal growth, so you can get support of fellow creatives who provide encouragement, communication, and inspiration along the way. So this is why, yeah, it's good to learn the basics of traditional grammar, because when you do, then you know how to break and bend those rules to explain things better and more naturally. So I want you to try playing around with conditional sentences in the comments. I'll try to reply to as many as possible, and I'll see you in the next class.